recordings. Okay.
That happens
Right,
every
there you
week.
go.
You'd know that if you were here. Hello, I'm Brighton Till I Fly. And we have made it to episode 400. And I present to you the celebration of a lifetime. Let's drone out. Tonight we are joined by, of course, everyone's favourite Curry Kitten.
Hello.
The man with the moustache, Stephen.
All right, everyone. Good evening.
My buddy, Cole.
Howdy.
The reason why LDO still has some back-end organisation, the Lord and Master, we are still commanded by him, even if it is by a non-physical presence, that presence is so mighty, our Lord and Master, Frank.
Happy Thursday.
My darling wife, Tony.
Bonjour.
The reason why we don't fly base shite, Mr. Clean Flight.
Evening.
The only reason that we could program our X9D Tyrannus, because not everyone's a programmer, Lee, Painless 360.
Happy 400th.
The reason why we can see our video feed and not have to rely on shitty aerial systems, antennas. Gregory Spencer Menace.
Good evening, everyone.
May we never tear a lobe off our antennas ever again. And the reason why this shit podcast exists, Dom Robinson.
Woohoo!
Hello.
Oh, look at the
That's
game of
something for
graphics.
the audio listeners, Dom.
Oh, I think he's muted. Oh.
You on audio as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
yes.
It's a podcast.
I thought I could just put a sort of avatar of me up and do this occasionally. And that.
How is everyone?
Fantastic.
Good.
8 years. 8 years,
I-
man.
I never thought I'd see the day. 400 episodes of The World's Flat. What's this connector? What's that glue for the antenna?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
PSC
when we
lists.
when we thought, why would we ever need any more flash memory? F3 is all you need. Oh, man,
Are we having a journey back in time, Jack?
we are.
Like
Some
a
of
hot
you
noise.
may have received an email. Mr. Lee Painter 360 was the first person I made the call to, being like, "Hey, it's a celebration. Let's have a chat. We're going to invite people who have helped make LDO what it is today." And Painless wanted to talk about one of Frank's topics of what was the best thing in FPV, what made all the difference. And me, Tony, and Frank kind of had a little chat about it to begin with. At one point, you know, mine was definitely the BR Heli Suite and the Clean Flight pass-through. If some of you remember BR
Part
Heli.
through was the best thing.
Oh, my word. Just not having to deal with an
FTDI
FPV.
adapters.
Oh, my word.
I
Got
found my stash of them yesterday.
USB,
They're probably worth something
VCP,
now.
virtual COM port.
Loads of them. Loads of them.
Yep, you used to have to stick. There's like little breakout pads on there, and you'd have to solder to the tiny little pads and then connect it. And then, if you didn't like the bootloader, you had a paperweight, a little mini paperweight for a mouse.
Yeah.
That was mine anyway.
Simon K firmware. Do you remember that? Simon K.
Oh,
the
yeah.
first firmware. God, we all thought that was the bee's knees for about 6 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no such thing as active braking.
No.
I know.
You still
I
have to.
just remember
Did
looking
you
at
have to
RC
tell
Group's
them?
thread and thinking,
Yeah,
no,
you did
they're not
that
there
then.
yet.
Because it was all PWM and one-shot output.
That was right.
Was it true that the one shot code
Losing
was
everybody.
something to do with your failed LED signal thing that you made?
It's the D-Shot code, isn't it?
I
There you
don't know.
talk-
So I say that
to
again,
Jack.
my connection.
Missed the Clean Flight.
The one-shot code is something to do with an LED signal, but I know the D-shot is loosely based around the WS2812 code, right? Which is used for
Yeah.
LED strip.
Something as such.
Well, sort of and sort of not. The encoding is sort of an old standard, basically. So it's used on quite a few things. It's a GCR encoding, I think, if I remember rightly, which is it predates the LEDs by a long time.
Well, let's face it, the only reason we have addressable LEDs is because of Dominic, because it was his wacky idea to stick them on a quad, and then everyone jumped on that bandwagon and started making them. And before he wrote the code, nobody thought of doing it. We all used to solder regular LEDs onto stuff.
That's it.
I
I found my PWM LED controller in my box of old stuff the other day. So, yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember all these things. Yeah.
Wasn't that your first project, though, where you made like a LED snowboard? Is
That's
that right?
Yeah. So my first
know.
flight controller was not meant for flying a quad. It was for putting on a snowboard because it had the gyro on it and it had a processor on it. And then snowboarding season finished and I had a spare one lying about. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should stick it in a quad now. So I did, and it was terrible. And then I bought a Naze, and then here we are today.
What was that first one?
It was a multi-wii one.
Or what, the multi-wii flip or something?
Oh, it was just some really old multi-wii one. It's some China green PCB. Don't remember it.
Multi-wii
I
Pro.
think it was an unbranded one or something like that. But the point was that it had an Atmel processor on it that you could run the Arduino libraries and stuff against, and it had the appropriate sensors on it, which I needed. So that's what I used.
Yeah, nice.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, like this show. Like, remember?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know, man. It was, yeah. So for any of you who are like new and like listen to LDO and wasn't there at the beginning, there was the if you go to my, hang on, I should have set this up a bit better, but yeah, if you go to my channel, you can go to the about. And then in the links, there's the LDO legacy episodes.
First school.
Yeah. So like, just to give you a sort of
How
heads
legacy
up.
are we talking about? Are we talking about when we recorded it on Google Hangouts, or when we recorded it just like through audio over like Skype or something? I think
It was,
Yeah.
I think, through Dom's Thursday night show first.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's how far back it goes.
So Jack was sat there with like Skype, I think, and then pushing it through the bit of software for Dom's radio channel.
Yeah.
Yep. So these are the first 30 episodes. Mixcloud, let's_drone_out. So you've got that. Like, what a link. Our first episode 2, and then it's Tony's 42nd birthday.
Oh,
Then
to
there
go
was
back
the
in
fossil
time.
event. Then there was the indoor FPV league.
What was the
Oh.
event down a bit, Jack?
Hang on.
No,
I've
don't
got a
do it. Don't
treat
go
for
back.
you, Tony.
Oh, God.
Yep. We are.
Oh, dear.
Do you remember
Oh,
this?
Yes,
Oh,
I do. Bloody hell, yeah.
So I'm holding up a shitty old Eachine 180.
How thin is that
No.
carbon?
Very
Mate,
thin.
it is like a sheet
Whack
of
that
A4
in.
paper. Look at that. This Impulse RC business card is thicker. Sheet of carbon.
It really
That-
is.
That's
Look
not
at
going to go
It
well.
is.
is it?
It actually is.
So,
Gotta pick that
yeah,
up
that's-
very carefully.
That's hilarious.
So you've got a little bit of history there, buddy. You look after that, and we can once take again. What was the event?
No, don't go down. Don't. No, I was joking. That one.
Do you remember, Dom, one of your thing where I commented someone told me the price of a DJI thing, and I said that's a lot of vaginal activity in anyone's money. How we got away with that, I don't know.
I don't know. What
Tony,
else is there?
it took to episode 10, by the way. Tony always says bonjour.
I've been saying that for 7 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
episode 11, 7 years ago, we finally got out of the 1 kilohertz mode.
Oh, yes. Clock speed.
Flying for the artistic value.
So all about faster clock speed. How much faster are we talking? Is that going from
1 to
Arduino
3,
up
I
to
think.
something else?
Ask Cleanfly. I don't know.
It was 1 to 3, I think, wasn't it?
1 to 3?
Well,
No,
it's
it
one
would
to
be-
Or before that?
So I guess F3
then
is
again,
considered
8 years
fast,
ago,
and
wasn't
then,
it? Wasn't it like
70
sub
megahertz?
somewhat one?
So in
K?
Arduino, they're like 16 megahertz, I think, aren't they?
No, it was like the original base flight stuff, and before that it was like a 1 millisecond loop. I think it was like 2.5 millisecond or something, wasn't it? Like the really original one, like
think
multi-loop stuff. And now we're many orders of magnitude
Yeah.
quicker than that.
F7s and stuff.
Now we're at the
Yeah.
point, like the motors just aren't changing speed fast enough. Let's not worry about it.
Yeah,
It's where we've got to now.
UK drone show. Was that the first ever drone show?
That's the first ever UK drone show. So that was the first
I
time you got
remember
to maybe look at Painless, because it was took north, and
It was
we got to see him, and the hair was very salt and peppery back then. He was like a younger, faster model, very sexually attractive, even
So
more so
still
than
is now.
the silver
Bless you.
polar bear fox that he is.
UK
Oh.
drone show, is that still a thing? Are they still
No.
doing that?
That's got
They got
5
they
years
got
ago.
to
I think they've
3,
done
and that was
3,
it.
yeah.
That was the 2015 boom when everyone was really excited for a couple of
Yeah,
years.
I think
and
they've
then
done
lost
3 and then
interest.
Gatwick happened and then they said, let's stop this.
Yeah. That's when we got then talks about, you fly a drone, better add you to the pervert list.
Oh, yeah,
So
because you
it
look
took
through
16
windows, don't you?
episodes.
Yeah,
God, yeah.
that's it. You hover
Then
around-
it was
The amount of times people have come up to me and gone, "Oh, about these drones," I'm like, honestly, you're flying this high and far away, you can't see anything. You're fine. It's just
No.
crazy.
You do realize everyone's walking around with a professional camera in their pocket with zoom functionality built in.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
Hex
these days the
Copters
cameras are better. It's true, but
it is.
You know.
But they can't zoom.
no,
Dom, Mr.
Which Dom?
Cleanfly,
Yeah.
still falling out the sky. That was me and your auto tune that didn't work.
oh yeah,
That was fun.
Sorry to kick
a
you.
problem
Talking about
that's
that the other day.
comprehensively
Bring
not
that up
solved
again.
It's
7
doing
years
something.
later.
It's floating away.
When was the last time anyone used auto-tune successfully? Not pressed a button that claimed to do auto-tune and then lost a quad, but when was the last time
I-
anyone used auto-tune?
I think that was
And it
Share,
worked?
wasn't it?
technically the software I'm currently running auto tunes on the fly as you fly it around. So I do.
Okay.
Lies.
Wow.
Someone's seen the marketing slogans and is now incorporating machine learning into their quads. Good on you.
Let's Drone Out with Rotor Riot. So we first got to talk to Rotor Riot.
That was their first gig, though, as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That
that's
was
before
like
they were
literally their
established.
first interview, first video. It was the old school guys, wasn't it?
Tommy
It was
Steele.
Tommy, Steele,
Chad.
Chad, and
Got my
Sharpoo.
stickers.
I don't think
You know,
it
I
was
actually had a-
Sharpoo, it was Mostosh guy.
Oh, Mr. Steele.
No,
No,
Sharpoo.
no, it wasn't Sharpoo.
You said X-Hover. I just thought I've actually got an X-Hover frame. X-Hover B-roll.
Move it.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, you know, I actually had a question, Jack, or maybe everybody can to sort of chime in on this one. Is Let's
it-
Drone Out one of the first drone podcasts, like FPV drone podcasts? Is it the first, or were there some before? Or
It's the first and the only one running still. If you can call it a drone podcast. Sometimes we go off topic, Quite a lot.
Sometimes
Well,
we're on
those-
topic would be a better way of expressing that, I think.
Yeah.
Do you
okay,
think
yeah.
it's still the fourth most popular in the UK, even though we're the only one left? 'Cause that was always if you brought out a
Sorry.
podcast tomorrow, you would be the fifth most popular one, or potentially knock us off the fourth spot.
I think there may be like a sort of more commercial unmanned aerial vehicle type podcast that's been going on a bit longer, but I don't think they have ever published an audio feed, sort of subscribable RSS feed. So in my mind, it's not a podcast; it's just a regular video meet. But
Yes.
That's why you're the
I would
commander in
agree.
chief, Frank. I absolutely agree.
Do you reckon there's someone who like still has like, you know, like the RC Powers podcast old school thing, and like I'm not listening to Let's Strode Out, and like plays old episodes, and they're like,
Probably.
oh, we got this new thing called S-Bus. It's amazing. Oh, this is so much better.
How many
Anything.
podcasts was there? We were definitely the first. We were definitely the
I
first.
think that person's probably painless, so I don't blame him.
No, I've never done a podcast. I used to listen to quite a few in the car back in the day when I used to do lots of driving for business. But there were mostly podcasts that had been around for ages, and they were a very broad church. So they weren't specifically about drones and stuff. In fact, I remember listening to a guy called Lucian Miller, who was on one of them regularly. He was a distributor in the USA for Scorpion Motors, I think it was. And there were loads of great questions that everyone would. This is back in the day, you know, before we just had regular motor sizes and things, because we were all using plane motors. They'd be asking him what motor and prop should I use for this size quad, and it was all very bleeding edge and kind of guesswork. But pretty much all of those that I used to listen to aren't around. There's just, of the ones that I used to listen to, this is the last one. So thank you.
Wow.
At least you give me something to listen to in the car.
Should we just quit now? I
We'd
think I
like to
said
stick
while
out
you're
your
I
ahead.
play this
down.
every year when we get to another stage. Like I think I said it 4th year, 5th year, 6th, 7th.
Hang on.
Now we're at
I'll,
8. Should we quit at 8? Let's make
legal
it to
notice:
10.
any
Oh.
views or any by any guest of the show, personal or reflective, may not reflect the views of others. Dom,
Whose mic's gone
That's
funny?
you, Jack. That's Jack.
Which Dom?
Has to be.
is it me?
Yeah, it's always you, Jack.
I can't hear anything. This sounds
Well,
awful.
It's
This
your
is
cloud
weird.
lifter. It's your cloud lifter that's acting up. But
Are you
all
sure?
good.
400 episodes and he hasn't got his audio working.
It's still changes the wiring every week.
I haven't touched anything. I think it might have been.
That's what she said.
Oh my god, you need a professional setup like me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Straight out of the gate
Vincent
every
Pratt,
time, right?
Greg.
Fully
To be
assembled.
fair, it only took Greg 7 minutes to do better
We-
than
we wasn't
what
waiting for you,
Jack's been
right?
doing for 8 years. So
Oh dear.
Voice of Doom. Who were the podcasts that you listened to who made you set up the International Drone Day that kind of,
Got us all into it.
yeah, got us all kind of.
Where did that? Oh, it was
Were they?
this couple.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just
I
go
don't
on mute
know.
while I curse a
Oh,
bit and
yeah,
swear.
I do remember
They,
you talking
they
about
may
that.
be, or
David,
maybe.
I met him in Vegas. Bizarrely, I went and actually found the geezer. What's his name?
Were they swingers, or did he get into financial difficulty? What happened? I can't remember.
They split. She came back to Crawley and they split up. I think
Oh,
that was
gift
it.
him. She's
I
in
think
my
he-
neck of the woods.
Yeah. You could go and adopt
sort out who you are.
a mini drone flyer. What was he called? David. Hold on, I'm going to curse and swear a bit.
Search
Speak-
your emails. Right, whilst he does
Let's
that,
play some tunes while he plays that.
O'Neill.
Right, hang on.
David O'Neill.
hang on. No, we've got one. We've got it.
Frank
Hang
had
on.
it. Frank had it. It's David O'Neill.
Let's
Let's
play
play
Adventure.
Adventure.
You wouldn't believe
Um,
Jack does a radio show. This kind of dead air, please. Right, are we ready? Okay, search your emails. Off you go.
So 7 years, right, and we're still trying to figure out how to tune our PIDs with Joshua Bardwell. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he makes a video every 6 months about how to tune PIDs. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. After Hours podcast back when Flight Test may or may not talk to us, and then after that, we got kicked off the Thursday night show for being shit and the general annoyance.
No,
And then-
what happened was you bought a huge audience and then they all fucked off immediately afterwards. As soon as you stopped, it was like, we just had about 400 people in and they're now back to 70. Where have they all gone? And yeah, a few of you kind souls stayed about because you like jungle, but the rest of them went off to go and talk geek elsewhere. So it's like, I think we need to just move you onto your own platform. at this
I'll
point.
always remember. I always remember someone writing in the chat, "Jungle is adequately sized." I had the amazing shirt. Jungle is adequately sized.
One of
Instead
my friends is a kind of Greenpeace supporter, and he's got a "Jungle is not massive" shirt.
Oh yeah,
cool. Well, I like that.
Jungle
Very
is increasingly.
Get in
So-
smaller.
Yeah, and we got Steve. Then we moved over to my YouTube, and we were on Google Hangouts. So we got Steve Gadlin. Then we chat to Mr. Steele.
Mr. Steele, 60
Look how
years
young Frank
With a
looks in that.
Look how
Oh,
young
look
Mr.
at
Steele
him.
looks. Mr. Steele's still
Yeah, right.
growing in his mustache. That's how
Yeah,
young
I
he
know,
was
innit?
there. Look.
I was
Wait
like,
for
what?
it. Wait for it. There's Stingy
That's
with no
it,
beard.
Stingy, that's all.
Oh yeah,
Look at that.
that's what I
Look how
remember him
he-
always used to
he-
look
he
like. Every
looks-
time I see him now, it's like, who is this guy?
Look at Greg, look.
Greg looks
He reminds
12.
me of the guy out of
12. Oh, Greggy Poos, look at Greg.
H-
Oh,
I'm 18.
HBI
I'm
guy.
18 now.
yeah, HBI guy until he got absolutely ripped. Honest to God, like he's got like a washboard abs.
I don't
Right.
think he flies anymore.
Is he
Look
still
at
doing the
this.
motorbiking?
Race shite, the scumbag.
Oh, God, the scubber.
Look at JB as
Bardwell.
well.
Oh wow, a much younger Bardwell, yeah.
Iron Av with that, and look, Painless with a cravat on.
Hey,
Yeah, must have been winter. I've got a
Yeah.
scarf. Yeah.
Yeah.
go,
There's Don Robinson, the
the legend.
Holding a
Um,
pumpkin.
well,
just
that's a smush run cam. I've never known anyone to kill run cams as efficiently and as swift as he is.
I know
They ran
exactly
out.
in that spot.
They
No, it's
ran out.
definitely Hidden Valley.
And that, look at that. That is me with David Winterstall.
Yes.
Yeah,
tiny.
absolutely, David.
Look, Jack was slim back in the day.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Why?
And
They're
there's
all
Greg
looking
in
nice and
France. There's Andy RC. Who remembers him?
Yes.
He's in the chat.
He's in the
here.
chat, he's
He's
around.
here in
He's in the
spirit.
chat.
He's had a long day, so he's having a bit of a rest and is nattering away. in
He's
the
had
chat.
a wank today and he can't be bothered to come on.
Takes it out of him.
I've just found all the original flyers and posters for the first miniature air show and mini air show.
Oh,
Can,
show
can you
time.
share it?
You want to see? Hold on. Screen.
We
Yeah.
never had Tom Smith.
I
He
just wanna make
promised
sure I
a
share
couple
this.
of times, but he never. He was too. He was good in front of his GoPro, but he was too. He didn't want to do anything live. So we did try Tom Smith a few times, but
I would have loved for him to call
Oh.
me lad just once.
Is that working?
No.
I tried the screen share. It says stop screen. Oh, there we go.
oh, here we go.
There's the original
Oh,
mini
yeah.
air show.
Say what you
Oh,
see.
Andy.
Before it was
Frank
banned,
described us.
Rottingdean Miniature Air Show.
We had Mr. B playing off the website as soon as he hit
What
it
year was
as
that
well,
then?
which was good. 20.
15?
Ooh, no,
AD.
no. I think it was 14. It was
14.
March 2014, if not. I'm pretty sure it's 2014 because I think Mini Air Show 2 was 2015.
42 days to go.
First person view doesn't exist anymore.
You know?
Who thought firstpersonview.co.uk would exist? Would be outlived by this shit show.
To be fair,
Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? The
Yeah.
guy had 7
I think had you had the
Porsches.
had you had the opportunity to cash in on Let's Drown Out, buy a small plane and bugger off adventuring, I think you'd have done it, Jack.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
So some other photos I found while I was looking.
Oh, the
Oh,
ledge.
look Look
Gary.
at Gary, man.
Gary Kent, the ledge.
My
This
God,
is when we
man.
all had.
What a
This is
jawline.
when we all had vertical posture.
I'm going to
Hey.
relocate inside.
James.
James
Sky
East.
News.
It's getting a bit dark out here.
Spot some
Did you
pics
hear
of
that
NJ
audio
as
stuff?
well.
And I was
Is NJ
mute.
around tonight?
And there was,
Not sure. He hasn't been in the chat.
do you
for a
remember
I
that
can call
indoor
him.
session? Bradders was flying around in the roof girders of that sports hall. I've got the video of that somewhere. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
he's,
Is he around?
he's
Is he
always
still around?
high.
Is he around?
Check
I
out the
haven't
Fat
spoken to
Shark
him for a
goggles.
while.
And there you go. That was a mini air show too, which is a really big one. Which was in
I
both
think this
sites,
is the
and
one
they
that
did
I went to. I didn't go to
awesome
the
camping
first
night,
one.
and everyone got together and had a race.
Yeah, we had a big fire and everything. It was
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, that was really cool, and it was like a promotion for it. I found.
Yeah, I think I missed mini air show. I just heard Frank talk about like the trauma that the setup involved when I started on the
Really
show.
dull at the end.
It was great.
Look, I like the
wasn't
fact this quality of video makes it look like it was in the 60s.
it? Well, it was. Oh, look, fossil stuff.
Different
Oh, yeah.
time.
Hey, Johnny Banton, he hasn't flown for years.
Radio slag. I mean, C.
Oh,
Wow, it's
Look at
amazing.
that.
Back in
Quality
the day,
is
this
just
was
Oh,
spectacular.
that's-
Brilliant
I can
picture.
fly through that, it'd be all
Oh my
right.
god!
For the invented colour.
Right?
I'm sure this.
Yeah, he used to
I'm not-
fly via sense of smell.
Anyway.
I'm getting a bit.
There you go. I'll keep
Oh,
looking. I'll stop
They were
showing.
great days though, because it was all so new and fresh and exciting, and Sky News came
That don't
down. I
look like a
remember.
drone
It was
pilot. I can
great.
tell you that now.
I remember
best
Sky
part of
Gemma.
Tony, I think you're flying in this report, in this Sky report, aren't
I
you?
think I
It
am.
was you and Brad is flying.
Oh my
Full
word!
tilt.
Thank
You
God it
actually
was
got
this one
on
and
the
not the
news.
other one.
That's incredible.
But Gatwick.
Yeah,
That was
but
when we got in the
Gatwick,
news.
the full
That's when
stop
we-
at the end of this conversation, really.
That was the whole David O'Neill thing, wasn't it? Drones are good.
There's Banton, Johnny Banton, fossil stuff, Violet,
After that, it
I'm
was more
surprised
like
he
who
wasn't-
needs innovation in the UK, not us.
Yeah.
James.
And that is rare footage of Johnny Banton not running somewhere.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, there I am in the background. You see my
There's
baldy.
me.
Oh, there's Dom.
Younger and thinner.
Oh, these
Anyway,
were
there you go.
they were cool days because it was all
Here, I'll
fresh.
stop sharing, but
and-
I'll keep
so
digging
good.
while we're on air. I'll see what else.
Mm.
I loved it.
Back when that was happening, Painless was returning to home with MultiWii. Somehow. He's the only person ever to achieve that, but you know.
Yeah.
It worked really well. It's just base flight
Once.
broke it.
That's it. It's amazing. I can't believe he done that. I remember watching that series being like, he is actually a wizard. I was convinced.
So, what was Lee's item of this is made FPV great sort of item? As Jack had what clean flight pass through, so you could flash ESCs. What's Lee's?
So the question was slightly different in the email. So Jack said, "What is the most game-changing thing you personally found in the hobby that made such a difference?" My answer, my number one answer, I've got about 8 things because I didn't know which order we'd go round, and I was guaranteed that other people would nick the same stuff. But for me, the number one thing, we've already talked about it, is digital protocols. Moving from PWM to PPM to S-Bus. S-Bus, you didn't have to, it just worked. And then also moving away from PWM control to one-shot and multi-shot and digital signals to the ESCs, which were faster and you didn't have to calibrate. The number of calls and help that I had to give people kind of dropped by half overnight when people used S-Bus and one-shot.
Yeah.
Because it just made everything so much easier.
Ah, that's a good one. I'll tell you mine because I only thought of one, and then if someone else mentions it, it'd be no good. It's the Tyrannus and OpenTX on the Tyrannus, because previous to that, all you had was these radios, and if you remember it, you could set up a glider or a plane or a helicopter, and all your switches had specific things that you could do. And the fact you could say, I want this switch to do what I want it to do, and I want to do things with expo and dual rates on the right switches I want, was absolutely fantastic. And of course the Tyrannus came out and it was so much cheaper than these Futaba radios and things that other people have been using. And hand in hand, although Free Sky is not in a good books at the moment with many people, the little tiny God, I can't even remember what they're called now. The
X-Lite
things. X-Lite, thank you. No, was it the X-Lite? No, I'm talking about the little receivers. The
XM
Oh,
Plus.
the
XM Plus.
XSRs. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the XM Pluses were just like fantastic range. You get telemetry
Well, it was
and
the
they're
one-
fairly cheap.
The one
As
before
long
that
as you
was
didn't
the-
try and go closer than about 3 meters, because then it like blew out.
Was it
and
the
would fail
X4
safe right next to
RFB
you.
before that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Because that was
That
the
was
first
the
one.
good
It's
one.
like it was small. It could do
Yeah.
PWM and this new doohickey thing called S-Bus before it went to the actual like XM Pluses. Yeah, nice.
XSR.
Got one.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
God, they
XSR.
were shit.
And then you could reflash those, and then they would be the X4 RSBs instead. 'Cause it was
They
just
went
fun.
far though.
What protocol added the telemetry and signal together? What was it called?
That was the like F port.
Yeah,
Or was it
that
S-port?
possibly one of my biggest disappointments because that went nowhere and was shit.
Yeah, no, it didn't, did it?
And it was the start of the crazy protocols from FR Sky, where they just released constant iterations and nothing worked with anything else. It started that trend, unfortunately.
This was the throwing lots of stuff and see what stuck, and nothing stuck. It just all fell
Yeah.
down.
This is the box.
Is this the old school box? Has it got
The
written old
V-Box.
school?
Lumineer Lux,
Yeah.
random Airbot fly controller.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got some qualities in here. Omnibus F4.
This is all out of the quality
Museum,
street
this
tin,
is.
by the way.
Omnibus F3.
Omnibus F4 is what I'm running loads of stuff on. It's not that old.
Blue
F3
Jay.
though.
Oh,
There's
blue
so
jay.
many in here. Oh, one of
Back in the
every
day-
type of Maze 32. All the
Oh my
revisions.
God, you got purple.
Yeah. No, well, like, you need Rev 1, Rev 2, Rev 3, because they all had to work on CleanFly.
Got to test everything.
Hello Zero, our first ever
Oh, yeah.
mod, by the way.
Yes.
Who knows this
Zero.
one? Word.
Zero's been hanging around in a chat for 8 years.
Why has it got an appendage on the side?
That's
What
the
is it?
Sparky.
We all
It was-
used to have them,
I mean,
the old
that-
pins.
Yeah.
Libre Pilot is
Tumour.
still around, but the last commit was February the 21st, 2019. So
It's hanging in there.
A seriously
Stay quiet.
Dodo. Time cop.
Oh
standing
God,
there.
I had a Dodo board. It was dead on arrival.
Afro Flight Pro. I don't know whether they
Yeah,
actually
well,
released
Afro
those.
Flight. I
Was that
remember
one with the OSD built in?
No, it didn't have the OSD, but I think it had an F3 on it. I'd have to put it under the magnifier to see.
Microphone.
Oh, he's got over
Microscope.
the hill. He's no longer got
I need
the
to get my glasses out. Hold on.
yeah the varifocals on.
We're all good.
Oh yeah, go on, Dom. Mr. Cleanflight, please find out. I can fluff. So I've got a bit of a treat for you, right? So these are the popular videos. So this was Boris B and Painless 360. So this was a podcast like LDO, except someone was asking intelligent questions, and then Painless had to go, and then the part 2 turned into the bee is a wasp, and then that started an argument. So it was great, and then just derailed heavily. You know, to the point where, you know, you got 4.8 and then only 4.3 people could stick it. Then you've got D-Shot. Remember that? That image, I think, is a photo of Dom's thing. You got Chad Kappa with DR1, the film that he made with the tricopter.
Yeah.
Those support braces on the arms of that tricopter are windshield wipers, by the way. Then the
Don't give away
DIY
secrets.
the Acro DIY DJI Mavic Sleeper that was famously edited by Curry Kitten themselves. Thank you.
Nice.
Then here's a treat for you. This is when I bought a cockerel for Tony. Or little mini Tony.
You are
And
so
Tony
weird.
went
How
ape
do we get it to
shit.
make noise?
He just does it in the morning. Look, so there's a
How
rare
loud is it?
insight.
That's your alarm
to-
clock, that
Yeah.
is.
Yep. And here we
Oh,
have,
dear.
we've got the Rotor Riot dog shit dive. So we went and visited Andy.
Oh yeah, that was great. Great days, great times.
Look, there's me diving, flying the dog shit bin. Look at it in all its
That
glory.
is literally famous.
I can't tell whether that's mud surrounding that bin or dog shit or a sort of like soup of the both.
Bit of
I
both.
don't know. And there was the FPV League that Tony came first in, where I set on fire.
Oh yeah.
That was second.
Frank shouted at me for being outside. I didn't realise the race was going to start. Couldn't tell whether I was just being a prick or just an idiot.
Bit
He
of both,
then
really.
suffered
Normal.
7 years of
Oh, you
finding
caught
out.
fire,
No,
didn't
there's
you?
the
That's
smoke.
Kiss
Yeah.
caught fire, yeah.
and it stank like hell.
Come second, not first on that event.
What
Oh,
what
okay.
board is Dom waving around there?
You see this
Oh,
one?
Clean Flight.
Hang on.
That is my primary Naze 32 development board that I did most of the Clean Flight early development work on,
Wow.
with
That's
a
a big
Steamboat
hit,
adapter
eh?
attached to it.
Is that like some sort of weird JTAG?
Yeah, it's the SWD pinout thingy, and then this plugs into your debugger.
If only you sent flight controllers with
Yeah.
other bits that's needed.
But yeah, that's where it all started on this.
I'd just like to point out this man promised not to fight with our guests.
I'm not fighting. I'm not saying anything.
And Tony's being an arsehole.
Oh, look what I found!
Hang on.
This is a metal case Naze clone.
Look at the
Ah.
size.
That's
Yeah.
rather big, isn't it?
That's what she said.
We're
else
hoping
is
to
in
make it
there?
more reliable by putting it in a metal
Yeah.
box.
I'm going to say that every
I'm
time.
not opening it. I can't. I've got to get a screwdriver for that. But yeah, it was. It had some errors on the circuit board. That didn't it? Oh, Flip 32.
Oh, the flip.
Oh my god, there's so many. Some early Airbot stuff. Oh yeah, here
This
we go.
is a treasure trove, Dom.
Here we go.
Airbots
What about
still
this
going
one?
strong. Making everyone else
CC3D. It's the pro. It's the plus.
I had
version,
one of
the
them.
Open Pilot.
I've still got one, I
Look
think.
at that bad boy. The Open Pilot one, yeah.
Yeah, open toilet.
That's the
or whatever they
proper.
call it.
Is this the first LDO thing that you sent me, Dom?
I don't know.
The Voice of Doom.
What's this one? What about this
Yes,
one?
it is.
Cool. Look at
Anyone
that
know what
thing
that is?
Hang on, let's have a look.
Hold on.
It says F1 on it somewhere over here.
Mm.
That's big. I don't know.
Yes, it
Let's
is,
have a
Jack.
look.
It's,
Yeah, that-
PWM.
oh, it's an Armaton Quads one.
What?
I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years.
No, me
That
neither.
That looks like the least useful pinout. Just giant.
2 million.
There was a lot of people
yeah.
making bad flight controllers back then. It's true.
There was a
Well,
Well,
lot of,
until they all ripped off the SP Racing F3, Dom.
This one was good.
Was it purple?
That was the first one with an integrated VTX.
Shadow.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
look
it's
at
a
it.
Sirin FPV. It's the RTC 6705 VTX on it. It was the first one.
Did it work very well? Because I've seen balls with integrated VTXs before, and you always get a noisy VTX in the ones
Yeah,
I've
they're
had.
always noisy.
So this
I don't
is
remember, to be honest. I don't think I flew it much. I just used it as a dev board.
Jack Nashed.
this is
What
the
was
Voice of
this?
Doom. This is the first episode.
Is that the very first ever one when you
Yes.
were on your own?
So yeah, if I share
Wow.
screen, if you go to my links and you go to the birth of Let's Drone Out, that is Voice of Doom who sent me the link.
Look at that.
That's me being midwife and delivering the very first Let's Drone Out.
Yeah.
That is,
So,
wow.
so that is essentially the pilot episode. So
That's
I will
crazy.
paste that in the chat.
How many years ago is that to the day? Well, it says
years
7,
ago.
but
When it says
No.
listeners too, is that
It's
how
got
many
the date
people
on
listen
It's-
to
if
it?
you, Jack,
Yeah.
zoom into the
Probably.
flyer. If you zoom into the flyer, it's got May 2013, is it? 2015.
2015,
Oh,
28.
there you go.
Bloody hell.
Look at that. 69 listen, by the way. Lol.
That's the best number.
69.
I have to.
That's less thrown out. All it rolled into one.
I have to share something else actually, Jack. I found my first camera.
Look.
image
Tone
of you.
Star. FPV, Jackson.
That was my name until Faceballs made it tell me
CC3D.
my real name.
Oh
yeah, in a case.
CC3D.
What
the
happened
lack
to
of
it?
flash space.
Have you
'cause
got
the
any of
bootloader.
the FCs with the gel around the chip? Do you remember that?
There were a couple of those, weren't there?
Yeah.
I don't think I do have one of those. No.
No, I don't.
Oh, here we go. This is the bag I was trying to find earlier. Here we go. Yeah. I was lying earlier. My other thing that I thought was my stash of Naves 32s wasn't. Green one.
Green one. I've never seen a green
Red one.
So I had a red one.
Orange one.
Never had an orange one.
And a blue one.
I had a blue one.
Yeah. and
Never
the
seen a
white
green
one.
one.
The white one was in the bag I found earlier. So yeah, that's the stash of Naves.
That's crazy. I definitely remember the gel around the chip one. Well, I don't know who made that, or whatever.
Because there
Greg,
were all kinds of different sensors and stuff going on these back then.
Yeah. Greg, you've been quiet. When did you get
What
into
got you
quads
into it?
exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we found whilst digging around, Frank, I don't know whether you can find the link,
Oh no.
the Menace tilting arm Kickstarter.
Oh, what year was that? 2015,
Oh my God.
maybe. But
Frank's in shock.
yeah, I suppose. Look, when you sort of looking at the thing that moved the hobby on the most, I really believe it was diversity receivers. Like the old FR632 was one of the first diversity receivers, and it was around that time I was playing around with antennas and patch antennas, and I was doing the Invader. So for me, that is when it all just it kind of blew up at that point. The diversity was there, our antenna was out. It was a great time.
Invader's still probably the best patch out there, I think.
It's in the top 5 sellers of Menace today.
Well, I think it's a great patch.
And we got 47 products. So that's pretty good, isn't it?
That is good. That is good.
Yeah,
Wish
prior
I
to
could
that,
find
if you remember anybody trying to do even vaguely long range, you had a helical sticking out your single
about 5
fat
foot.
shark, and
You're
you
like
have
a
to keep your head
Dalek.
really still
Yeah, stay
and just
still.
like, there it is, don't nobody move me, and you just end up with like really bad neck at the end of the flight. But yeah,
10-turn
diversity
helical.
works.
A patch in the sky about that big. Don't move your head. Yeah.
It's always fun to see these people that are wearing those and then fly like this, just into the ground.
What was the other frequency that everyone used to fly in as well with the massive antennas?
1.2.
It was like 1 point something or other, wasn't it?
1.3.
1.3, yeah.
Yeah, around then. Because I remember building my own antennas out of like motor enamel wire and stuff for them to try and get better range from what I was currently getting. But they were ginormous, those things were. Ginormous. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Things.
I also remember the day that we didn't have to use a screwdriver to tune the drone.
Yeah.
Can you remember that? The old
God.
KKV 5.5 boards.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
going back
that
a
was
while,
fun.
that is.
That's going back a while. I think it was 3 little pots, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
It was useless, but it was fun.
Super old school.
And it would just turn a gain. It was not really about a PID loop. It was like, do you want more roll or more tighter roll? It's like, it wobbles. Try turning it and see what happens. It wobbles less. Yes, you've tuned it. That's it.
Did you ever do a tutorial on that, Painless?
I did some KK 2.0 setups, but I waited until there was a screen because it was genuinely a bit of a black art. You had to sacrifice an animal and read the entrails, because and as Curry says, I'm not convinced some of those pots were connected to anything. I think they were just there to make you feel better. What is Don pulling out? That immersion RC? What's that?
Integrated motherboard.
Yeah, of the
with the
Was that the first Vortex with the folding arm thing? Was that the Vortex, or was that the other thing? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was that one. And it was the first one that had an OSD that wasn't the Max 7456 chip on it. But Immersion RC never really did anything with their OSD. They didn't really sort of open to the rest of the world how that you could do anything with it. So it never really went anywhere, that OSD, unfortunately, on that.
That was a shame, that was, because I've still got the Mojo 230, and the stuff they did in that was really quite impressive. They tried to integrate everything together and made it really quite friendly for people, but no one sort of jumped onto that and did anything with it.
So many things.
Yeah, but if you damage something on that, it was like game over, wasn't it?
It's like
oh, sorry.
I was going to say, it's like the old argument when we were all building quads in the early days and the all-in-one ESCs first started to come out, and there was one big camp of you put an ESC on each arm, and then the other camp was, no, we use an all-in-one meter, and they were literally throwing rocks at each other.
Yeah. And then there was the camp who were like, why don't we just put everything on one giant PCB that covers the whole length of the quad, so if there's a tiny crack anywhere in the quad, we have to replace everything.
Yeah, everyone runs it then.
I know. Well, that was only what was that in Emacs? That was their solution.
I mean, there's like the ZenMR where you've got that PCB that covers everything.
Oh yeah, it used to have it actually. There was one frame. Was that the ZMR where there were traces actually in the frame itself?
That's the one that Jack built as the retro quad.
And TBS did it with their Discovery frame to replace your old NASA 450 as well. That was all on the PCB.
On the face of it, it looks usable because there's no messy wires. But then you just think about how much a PCB is going to flex versus a bit of silicon wire, and it starts to worry you a bit.
I hated the TBS stack. I never used it. It just looked ridiculous. I think.
Yeah, that's what I just.
I think you just pulled one out, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's like a sandwich. Yeah, Power Cube. That was
still selling those old F3 Power Cubes. I saw them on sale on the TBS store.
Stupid.
I don't know why they're still flogging them.
Yeah, it's because they used it in their Carbon drone, didn't they? That's what they made it for. I don't remember the name of that though.
Oh, what was that called?
It was good. That was.
TBS released a lot that just sort of went and went away again. And I can't. They also had that little hex thing as well, didn't they?
Oh yeah, the hexacopter.
Vendetta, that's it. Yeah.
Vendetta, yeah, that was it.
What was that little hex they released as well?
To the Vortex, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Back in the I think it was the rival to the Vortex 2. I think it was the 2 by that time.
Yeah, it's a cool little drone though. They're having 6 blades and that. You were like, yeah, man, look at me. I've got 6 blades, not 4.
What I really liked was back to the Vortex. They had that thing where you could set the propeller rotation by spinning the motor when you first plug it in.
What? You're looking like you manually did that. Was it you manually span it and then
you spin it? And no, that's for. Was it? Yeah, it was for reversing props, wasn't it? You could you just spin it the way that it's supposed to go, and then it looked at the back EMF, I guess, and then worked out which way round it was going.
That was a game changer.
It also had a motor diagnosis tool, so you could spin the motors up and check they're all running at the same RPM. And so if you've got a problem, the Gemini is the thing I'd forgotten.
God, that was so shit.
The little hex thing, which that didn't catch on either.
Lee, did you have one of those Geminis?
No, I didn't. I'm just looking at the TBS Vendetta thing because I had one of those, and they were amazingly engineered things. But it was all like laid in carbon fiber. So if you broke anything, it was going to get expensive. Yeah. But they were really smart because the arms snapped into the bottom with special connectors. So you just replaced an arm if you broke one. But if you broke the body, you were absolutely snookered. But all the electronics came out on a tray. You pulled the whole of the electronics out the front. It was
like
actually really clever. Yeah, it was really smart.
It was
But it
was
didn't
quite
fly.
nicely designed. I remember seeing one.
I think I flew mine about 4 times and nearly crashed it, and then I was like, okay, that's it's a wall hanger, that one. It looks great, but if I smash it up, then then it's a bin job.
Has everyone
Yeah,
here
if there was like
wall
frames and
hangers?
like someone like that you're actually going to keep for a long period of time, that would be one that you'd want to keep. I think you're right there.
Mm. Definitely. Have we all got wall hangers? Have we all got stuff from 2014 and 15? Oh,
My garage is full.
Like, you mean like definitely got some hanger queens?
Yeah.
Just like stuff that is not gonna fly, even though it could.
Yeah.
I have this.
It'd be nice to take to a event in another 5 years, say like that sort of thing. I know Curry Kitten's got shit like that.
What frame's that, Don?
Fucking hell, look at that thing.
Is that?
Looks homemade.
Does it fly?
It looks like
it does fly, yeah.
Oh, a
Have you got
gimbal with a
that's not
GoPro
a
on it.
quantum frame, is it?
Look at it.
Was that a Lexmos?
Hero 3 on it.
Oh, what's
Right,
done?
when did the Hero 3 come out?
A long time ago.
That's when that quad
This
came
has got some
out.
properly old school stuff.
You're probably
on
getting better
It's
footage
got
off your
separate
FPV feed than that
PCB
Hero
gimbal
3
as
is.
well.
Stop being
Is that the
naughty.
Alexmos board
I
for the gimbal?
do not know what frame it is.
Dom
I think
probably
it was
wrote the code himself.
I think it was something like something from Good Luck Bye. I think it was.
Is that a D4R2 on there as well?
Honestly, don't know what's on here.
D4R2.
Good luck
Yeah,
pie with the
VTX.
popular cross-finger arm quad range.
It's a bit dusty. Look how much dust is on this.
The fat shark.
Some
The old
chunky
fat
motors.
shark.
Yeah.
Give
I'll
it
put
a
that
year
on.
or two, that will fossilise.
I don't want to touch it.
Oh,
It
I
needs
love,
to- it needs
I
to be
love
clean.
looking at old stuff. I think we should meet up one day, all of us, and do it like bring your old stuff and try to fly it.
Do you know what? I actually flashed Clean Flight on a board the other day. It was great. About 2 days ago, it was.
There you go. There's Curry Kitten.
Is it, Don?
Oh,
Something like this.
Yeah.
A great
Yeah.
minds thinking alike here. I have the
is.
same thing. I
It is
took this
very
with me on a
similar.
backpack, and it weighs about 2.5 kilograms, or
Yeah, that's the same
lined
one,
up.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, some
Yeah, I remember
quantum
breaking
XJ something.
I remember breaking the white plastic top plate and then like making a new one out of like a bit of clear plastic or something.
Yeah.
How
Actually,
long were the flight times that you're getting? Because that looks pretty huge.
I was using.
It's
I was
very
finding
heavy.
4,000 milliamp hour battery in that thing. So
Probably 3S.
yeah, it was. Was it? No, it was 4S in that.
Oh, it was 4S.
Yeah, it was 4S
No.
in that.
Wow.
I think I was using a 5200 4S, so about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's about 10 minutes or so as well. Yeah,
That's,
but yeah,
Not too
that's
bad.
what I flashed Clean Flight on the other day.
Why did we go 4S and then back to 3S for
Wait,
drone
wait.
racing then?
Because people wanted to artificially limit the top speed because it was getting to the point where only like the top 1% of pilots were using full throttle.
So,
Painless.
Dom,
Oh, this is the old. This is very.
Look
this
at
is the
those.
first ever.
the measure
This is the
receivers.
first
Yeah.
ever one.
Oh yeah.
Don't check your stuff. Turn it off.
The
Will it
Hobbiton
turn off?
battery.
Will it turn off?
Energy.
No. Yay.
That totally secure battery where you've got it like
Hey,
vertically
it's,
mounted and you just hope the battery
Failed.
strap doesn't.
Failed his
Check test.
yeah, his
Fail safe.
That's right, they were doing failsafe tests, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've forgotten
is
everyone's
that-
name.
No
now.
way. I recognise that LED board.
You should have seen the expressions when I turned up to FPV Drone Fest and they were like, oh yeah, we've got a fail-safe check. And I'm like, okay, all of them. And they're like, what?
Cole?
How many have you got? And I was like,
oh
nine.
wow.
Keep
Do you
playing it,
recognise
Jack.
that?
Here's Jack.
Yeah, I think so.
This is him
That's
signing
an
in.
alien right there.
Yeah.
It's like the first Yeti sighting.
Which one were you? Niall. Yeah, I've taken
What are
Look
you
at
on?
that. That's Dom
We haven't
Robinson.
got those, didn't we, now?
They
not.
look at it like they're wild animals.
Jack, that's you on the left, isn't it? With the DC
Yeah,
shoes.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mighty Car Mods,
Yeah, that's definitely Jack.
Tranus. That's when I
Tyrannus.
first. Team
Still got the
Poop
same trousers.
T-shirt. That's
You can
Frank.
spot my quad with the enormous antenna tubes on it.
Look there. Have you been?
Gravity trains. that was
Team
it.
Poop.
Wowzers,
Oh.
those are big.
Gravity
So that's
280.
this is
Got
all
cheese
this is
then.
all from Mini Air
I'm
Show
gonna say
3.
that.
Yeah.
This
So
is all
this
from-
was when Gravity, all those frames, they were new because that
Gucci,
stuff was
that's it.
old when I was getting into
Gucci
it.
the
Really,
teddy bear, the purple teddy bear.
I've been watching RC Group's threads for ages and decided it all looked a bit messy and chaotic. And then I got into it when stuff started to, get a bit more integrated.
Look at
What
that
camera
old
is that
fossil
on
frame
top?
there.
What was that pink camera on the top?
It's a fossil frame. That was a 280 Gravity.
Oh, we got someone trying to enter the studio, and we.
It might be Darren. Darren
Yeah,
was
yeah.
going to, and he's texting me to
There's
say he
Brad,
could
there's-
just make it.
I've got to switch to my other computer. This one's the battery's dying on it. Back in the
Switch
gym.
over, Dom. Look at these old faces, man. Richard. That's all I remember him as. The guy in the red cap now, he's a marathon runner and really thin. I can't remember his name. I think he's from Poland. There's Ed.
Hey.
Ed's been on the podcast a few times. Look at Ed. Oh, I'm going to send him this link. What time are we on? And I can send it. Oh, yeah, he was Team Poop, wasn't he? That is my quad.
Oh my god, it looks like Fisher Price.
It's my quad. It is a
It looks
Gravity.
taller than it is wide.
Yeah, that's a Gravity
Gold nose props.
180 with the battery thing at the bottom. I remember.
Thing is,
It
that was on
looks
the
like
radio
a
for a while.
plastic sex aid.
That is
what's his face?
name?
Not in fancy
Ali G
dress.
guy. Yeah.
Carlos.
Carlos.
Very
that's
nice.
it. Very nice. Fucking
Carlos.
hell, this is really old, isn't it?
This is
Look, there's
2016.
sheep.
This
There's
is all-
sheep in the field, like we're flying around the sheep. Hey, literally, hey, there he is.
Hey. Oh, did you see that? Did you see that motor twitch for no reason when Tony plugged in? That's
That's
one
your
shot
doing.
125. Look at
Whoop,
that.
that's not
Yeah.
good.
Hey.
Oops.
I didn't build it.
No, it's probably Branners. That's definitely my
would've-
quad. I remember it. Oh,
Oh, look,
JD,
I'm-
unplug in, replug it back in. That's better. It'll work now.
This is high
Didn't
tech,
pass.
high tech launching tiles.
Yeah.
Didn't pass.
Oh,
Hey!
try again.
That was
Oh,
intentional.
that was nearly a finger, that was.
Hey, there it is.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, the
definitely
trusty
me. Pinching
Tyrannus.
and fun. Yeah, hybrid.
Can only turn left.
Yeah.
I'm
I
thumbing
was glad that day was a left-hand race. Oh my god! I've still got them jeans. Can't fit into them anymore, but I've still got them.
No, he's not. Oh, all right, okay, go ahead.
Look, panic repairs. Quick before we got to take off again.
Right.
The
Mad
stretch.
mushroom antennas before Greg was around. We all swapped.
This is a massively fun element of this relay race.
Oh yeah, it was a
great
relay,
race.
wasn't
It
it?
was a great race. That. Yeah.
So much in the way of
Okay,
loose
round that
wiring.
gate.
There he
Oh,
is,
I've missed the gate.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie.
I'll go back
Yeah,
to the
we
gate,
were
yeah.
all Stevie back in the day, to be fair.
But no antenna?
Yeah,
I don't
No,
know.
this is the old antenna on a tripod
Hmm.
Yeah,
for the
that's
better
it.
signal.
Who was the girl? Did we have scouts there or
They
something?
had
Yeah,
scouts
Cub
there to do flagging. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's James Page, isn't it? That chap.
Is it
That's right,
James
yeah.
Page?
Yeah.
I think that's an external ground station. That's not
Yeah,
just
we-
the aerial.
Yeah, quite a lot of us had
The
ground
FR632, I think, that Racer Racing brought along to have one per team because basically the intermodulation distortion on like the sort of the rejection on the standard goggle modules back then was so poor, just like there was no chance of flying with that many people in the air. But those VRXs, those kind of external VRXs that had like nice big heat sinks and everything, they had good rejection of sort of the off-channel frequencies. So you actually had a chance to fly with other people in the air and still only see your own image for a while.
Yeah, you're right. He was the guy who's now done drone racing in the UK Army, but I don't remember his name.
Carl.
That's
Yeah,
Carl,
he came
that's
up
it.
to do
Carl.
Carl, he'd originally flown big drones and then got into racing.
Yeah, he was in the army, wasn't he, or something like that?
Yeah, I think he now races Lockheed drones or something crazy.
Holy shit!
This
Brad
was
is
all
in the
hit the
chat.
gate.
Look at
It's
his
all
arms.
pre-diversity,
He's
isn't
bigger
it?
than my legs.
Yeah, I do. I think
Chico, he was one of
around
our
the, around different areas, they're actually starting to
one of our lads on
recognise
the
these things
first
flying
lot of
around, and they're getting cheaper, more
LDO.
accessible. So I think it will start growing. Probably a little bit.
Who's that in the
you know,
background?
slow to start with. Much more
He was
later on. ESPN are
fossil
gonna
stuff
start covering the
pilot
US.
and Martinez.
Martinez, that's it.
Another news.
Look at the box goals on that.
Look at. Did you see the square flat board cam?
Let's turn it on.
And I
Oh,
have
by the way, I'm
picture.
powering on, everyone. I've got to
That's
take
not
the camera off.
DJI.
Goggles than these, however, I haven't actually tested them yet. So I'm
His
going for the
video
old-
receiver.
Cheapo, la wonderful.
It's like a car
Straight on your
radio.
goggles. That's the
Big
way.
camera,
Remember those
live
things
phone.
said?
It's like a golfing group here.
Oh, this is the
That's
Kent
working
with
Club.
the tripods.
Brilliant.
That was the Kent Club.
We're
walking
on
up
the
there.
we're on the seventh hole.
Yeah,
one
people
under
not just rocking
par.
up with their radios and goggles. They're going the whole hog with deck
Look at
chairs,
that.
picnic tables, extendable radio masts.
Oh, he's got his LEDs.
We got free.
His
Free
Mobius
box.
action camera.
Yeah,
Big
Mobius for
fat
the win.
bullnose props again.
Is that a Mobius or is that one of the
Yeah,
run
we had
cams?
people
That's a run
Looks
cam.
like one of those
An orange
run
one.
cam.
How many
People
Mobius
were
black?
watching.
I think
Hey,
it's the run cam. They
Stevie.
were orange. They did a couple of those rectangular ones before they moved
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the
Oh,
new form factor.
brilliant. This was when it was so exciting, wasn't
That
it?
is a ludicrous set of goggles, right?
Yeah,
there.
but it was exciting
Cyborg.
and old school. It was so good back then.
Yeah, but you say
There was
Cyborg,
nothing
but
else
that's
like
like
it at the time. was there?
1987
wasn't.
version of Cyborg, which is just a lot of polystyrene, a few wires, and a metal shell.
These were the
like
days.
budget
I
ball.
love these days.
This is, can you make it round the course? If so,
Yeah,
you might win.
Exactly.
That guy's goggles are even bigger. Look at that.
I remember
That
those
must be
gates
exhausting.
a year after that, in the strong winds we had on the
God.
third mini air show. They did not look that good.
No, definitely ripped to shreds.
Those are the
This
physical
is
gates, right?
this
It's Matt
was
Austin.
4, wasn't it, Frank? I think this was 4.
I do remember it being on the hill on a bit of a
I think we
slant.
cut it down and did it with Rotorite just to make it simple that year because we were already getting heat for Hidden Valley.
That looked like a fossil stuff crashing.
Yeah, that was Nico.
That was someone fast who was on 4S and we were all on 3.
It's nice to know that pretty much everybody there was flying some of my
Basically,
planes.
having a remote piloted
Definitely
aircraft. It
gone.
could be wings because people fly wings.
Most
but
people
more
were probably
commonly
on your stuff
quadcopters,
then.
how they fly, and basically just racing around the circuit.
It is pretty cool.
To be the fastest or get the most points.
I've got
It's
one
very
a
cool.
little bit of video which looks more or less the same from the year before as well. When Sky were there with there's just a couple of shots of people you'd recognise.
Send it over to me. I'll play it.
Okay, hang on.
There's
There's
Jack in
me,
the
look.
background. Yeah,
Wild
I just
Yeti.
saw you. You can literally see a Yeti from a mile off.
If I didn't wear a wristwatch, man, people would be terrified. Oh, some feet. Some pervert will jerk off to that later.
Oh, he's
Dan
Dan Upton. Oh my god, the legend.
Oh, I forgot
His
what he looks
brain's
like.
too big for his mouth.
What?
Look at that. We used to fly through
That's
that.
some,
That was
No
good
that's
way.
some
video.
class
That
footage.
was fucking
Ooh.
good video back then. We were like, oh, I can see.
I loved that
Language,
video wall.
Tony.
That was the best
Sorry.
thing about that show was
Oh.
that big video wall.
That is rough.
I wanted to steal that video wall.
Yeah, it was
So,
massive,
Still,
wasn't it?
still barely better than your video feed today, eh, Cole?
Yeah, that was rough today. Yep.
Your
And,
shoes, man. If anyone gets a chance, check out Cole's
Cole's
story
been
on Instagram.
experimenting what it's like to fly around cell phone towers. Apparently not good.
There was nothing out there.
yeah,
That's
that was
just how we had it.
Low RF noise floor.
Yeah.
yeah. I should have looked behind me before I armed and tried to get away from myself. It was bad. I had to basically disarm from like 100 feet up. Luckily it was a muddy hill, so it was fine.
Everything
I
survived.
might
then.
have to teach you how to use a spectrum analyzer.
Oh, do you
Or,
remember
or
this
eyes,
geezer?
in fact, if you're standing next to a massive cell phone tower.
Do you
But
remember
we've all
that
done it one
geezer?
time or another.
I don't remember it. I remember him in the day, but I haven't seen him since.
He turned up down at Hidden Valley with an RV that I think he'd hired for the weekend that was like about 4,000 foot long. And all the boy racers were sort of getting their little sports cars and stuck on all the rocks down at Hidden Valley. And then this geezer came down with this RV which sunk into Hidden Valley, called the AA or ROC, tried to tow it out. The tow truck got stuck underneath.
I do remember
Another
that.
tow
Yes,
truck
I
and
do
pull it all
remember that.
apart and get him out. It was so funny.
All flying through the.
This was the year
Yeah.
before. So this was the very first Hidden Valley
I think I
Sky
was here. as
Oh, this is
well.
awesome.
So this is mini air show
They
too.
landed in the sheep fleece, did they? They're professionals.
I
There
think
was a
this is
dead sheep.
my
That was
footage.
the funniest bit about the whole day. Was we turned up to clear the place, and there was half a dead sheep rotting in one of the broken down barns. And there's someone who'd just never, I don't think he'd ever seen grass before, other than smoking it. And he was standing there going, "Oh my God, there's a dead animal there. We got to call, like get
I
hazmat
remember.
suits and just panic." And the farmer just came up and went, "Fuck that!" Picked it up, put it in a bin liner, and threw it on a pole with all the other ones. It was like,
Poor little
it was
things.
amazing.
Wake up call.
This is so cool to see because I've flown there and I've only been in the hobby just barely.
Oh
a
my
couple
God,
years,
how
but that is so
young
cool.
does Gabriel look?
Yeah, he's got a full-on beard now.
Yeah, I know. That
7
is
kids.
nice.
Wow.
Kids, yeah. Jeez.
Well, these were original Dominators.
There's Johnny Banton
Johnny
again.
Banton
Oh,
not
no, I'm
running. What the
fine.
hell's going on?
That was me in the blue
So
top flying.
what is
Jesus.
very notable about this bit of video is in the background while they were filming that up on the hill,
Awesome stuff,
me and Jack were
280.
talking about doing podcasts. So basically,
Wow.
I think the
Wow.
idea of LDO happened in the
Simon
background.
Dow.
Of that camera.
Hang on, let me
History.
just play.
That is
Like,
crazy
this
stuff.
is before he made his millions and bought a yacht and 7 kilos of cocaine.
You should
Allegedly.
also follow it with
My
calls which
original
cost 50
Dominators.
quid a minute.
This could one day become a professional sport.
Could become
Wow.
it is now. There's people making
Wow.
money out of that. That's
There you
crazy,
go.
man.
Trip
Wow.
down memory lane, folks. I've got to
Wow.
go. I've got about 15 other things I need to do this evening. But it's
See you
been really
later,
good.
Dom. Nice to
No.
see
Have
you
a trip down
again.
memory lane.
Take care.
I'm gonna go
I
too.
sent you a
Oh,
harsh
thank
sound
you.
effect, Jack. So
Me
you
too.
can trigger
Happy
that harsh sound.
birthday, LDO.
Thank you, guys.
Well done, mate.
Look,
Thank you so
we've
much.
got to go. We're over time. Let's just say goodbye and then we're done. Thank you
Okay.
for everyone who tuned in. I've been bright until I fly. We have been joined by, and you have been listening to Let's Drone Out. Everyone's favourite Curry Kitten.
Goodbye.
Voice of Doom. Who's muted themselves.
Hey.
He's got his little
This
video
radio
going.
Mr.
professional.
Clean Flight.
See you, everybody.
Painless 360.
Thank you very much. Happy birthday, LDO.
Andrew / Frank.
Bye.
Greg from Menace RC.
Thank you, goodbye, and happy birthday, LDO.
My buddy Cole.
See ya.
The man with the moustache, Stephen.
Good night. Happy 400.
Curry Kitten.
You said goodbye to me
Again.
already. You forgot your wife.
Everyone's favourite. And my darling wife.
Bonjour.
Thank you. This show has been supported by our lovely Patreons. Thank you for helping us get to 400. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you for the best mod, Zero FPV. Thank you, Tailspin, Ed, Bradders, you're a C word. Andy RC, we love you.
Let's
drone out. Let's drone
Brothers
out.
Lane in the chat.
Let's drone out.
There
Thank
it
you,
is.
guys. FX
Oh, it's in
Node.
the
Anyone
chat.
I have
Hey.
missed? Thank you. Good night.
Night.
See you.
Night.